Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the funny B side of session 3, session 3.5. Uh we were going to have Kai because he couldn't make it to session 3 along with our backup player. And our backup player couldn't make it. So today we just have Kai. Kai gets a solo session today. Yay!
Yeah, it's just me. Just
And
me.
as Kai always loves to say,
I really hope nothing goes wrong.
yep, I have the soundboard.
Oh no.
So I'm keeping that. That's here now.
It's identity theft now. Oh no.
Okay, so let's just get started here. So your first week at Star Heights Academy has come and gone, letting you get used to your new schedule. Classes, lunch, homework, repeat. Today, though, everyone is at least a little bit excited. As you were told before, you will finally start taking part in physical practice today. Additionally, now that the school year is in full swing, it seems that rumors are starting to flow. So if you want to put your ear out for rumors, you can just let me know, and I will tell you how that mechanic works.
100%.
Okay, so how rumors work is that you can roll, I believe it's mundane. Let me check. Yeah, you can roll plus mundane, and you can either name like a person or a specific kind of rumor that you're looking for, and if you get a hit, then I'll tell you what you find out. If you fail, the rumor will be about you.
Okay, I do that right now.
Yes, you can do it right now. So you just roll plus mundane.
So like +1 or like?
You just hit the die button next to the mundane stat on your sheet.
Okay, so there's no situational bonus or penalty, it's just 0.
No.
Okay.
A miss. Ooh, okay. Let's see.
Exactly what I want. There's no
okay.
losing in this scenario.
There's no losing. So yeah, let me open up the... So if you go under our handouts in the Star Heights Academy handout, I have also added that's like where I'm going to be putting all the rumors. So the rumor on the street, you're kind of, you're keeping your ear out. You're trying to, listen out for what people are saying, just kind of in general. But you hear that people are starting to talk about you. Specifically, a lot of people are obviously talking about your history as a sort of criminal. Now, some of the people in the school that are, more goody two-shoes are like, oh, why is he here? Why does he get to be here? Like, obviously you're here on the rehabilitation course. But, there are some people that are kind of questioning it and are like, oh, does he have some ulterior motive? Is he planning something? And other people are just talking about how, like, it's kind of cool that, you don't, like, listen to the rules, and are kind of talking about you as if they, like, assume that you're, like, the bad boy type. So a lot of people are basically making your identity for you, or like assuming who you are. So now we get to shift your labels. And I'm gonna say Mark Savior down 1 and Danger up 1.
Okay.
So your Savior will be -2 and Danger will be 3.
3, yep.
So yeah, people are talking about you like you're a bad boy. Let me add that to the rumor mill.
Where would I find the rumors, by the way? You said like it's in the organization. Oh.
Yeah, it's on that one.
Okay. I see what you mean now. So I wouldn't know any of this.
No, I'll say that you can know some of this from talking to your friends as well, since it's already here.
Okay. God. This is actually just Dako's entire character.
It was so great. Everyone rolled for rumors last time. It was very good.
Good to know no one's a coward. It's important.
Oh, now one thing, the little rumor about Joey, that happens at the end of the session, so that one you don't know about yet, but everything else. But okay. So after hearing some rumors about yourself, and keeping your ear out, you hear some things about some other people. You kind of talk to people in Homeroom before things start up. But very quickly the bell rings, and we get into the beginning of your day. You go through your first period, and the usual happens. Nightwalker begins talking. He talks about your job as heroes, about professional procedure in combat, and a hero's responsibilities while on the field. He goes over that it's your job to protect people that can't protect themselves, to protect lives rather than to fight, to stop criminals rather than to hurt them, and so on. Depending on your toolkit, your job may be different than other heroes. Some will be better suited to helping evacuation, while others will be better at damage control. Nightwalker continues, saying, "Some of you may look at this situation and believe yourselves above this, that with your power, you should be stopping supervillains trying to take over the world. But that's not how this works. It will not only be your job, but your moral duty to help in whatever situations you see or are sent to. You learn to use your powers effectively so that you will not destroy a city blocking your efforts. And you learn to fight so you may defend yourselves and others. Do not be so arrogant as to forget this. Now, I will go over popular but effective fighting styles and techniques revolving around self-defense and disarming, including stance, posture, and the laws of movement. Take notes, as we will be practicing every Monday from here on until you are all professionals." The class gives a light but shared groan as they start taking out notebooks and pencils, and Nightwalker turns the blackboard on and flips over to the notes. For the rest of Homeroom, Nightwalker talks more on a handful of defensive fighting styles. You're pretty good in a street fight. You're pretty dangerous. You know how to handle yourself in a brawl. With your experience, and you're more used to, I'd say, probably a little bit more of an aggressive style. You kind of had to self-teach. So there's a lot to learn here about how to actually defend yourself and disarm and whatnot. Additionally, the moment he catches other people, not paying attention or not taking notes, he immediately reprimands them. Eventually, the bell rings and you're sent on your way. First English, then math, then the bell for lunch rings out. But instead of going to lunch like normal, along with all of your friends, you're in a different situation today, Terry. As today, you quickly grab your lunch and dismiss yourself to, once again, the counselor's office, as you have a new meeting at the start of this new week to check in with Liberty Eagle to see how you're settling in, and just to sort of see how things are going for you. So, let's move along and see Liberty Eagle again. We'll come up here to the top right of the zone.
I'm already on the couch.
Yeah, you've come in, you've said your hellos. But yeah, let me get this open. So you've come in, you've greeted Liberty Dove and Liberty Eagle, and Liberty Eagle sits there eating a small salad, lightly dressed off to the side. What are you having for lunch today?
Oh, what's Terry having for lunch?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
What's he in the mood for today?
Pepperoni pizza.
Okay, like a little personal
Wedge
pizza?
fries.
Like
yeah, little tiny personal pizza.
Okay. And a little bit of fries.
Ham and pineapple, by the way.
Okay. Wait, okay, pepperoni, ham, and pineapple is the
combination.
No.
I'm scrapping pepperoni. It's ham and pineapple.
Okay. All right, yeah. Well, you're eating your little personal pan like Hawaiian pizza, and as you eat, Liberty Eagle starts going on briefly about his days in school, just kind of talking to you and letting you know. But he goes on about his days in school before the war and his fondness of those days. He rambles on for a little while, kind of reminding you like, oh yeah, this guy's like really old. He's just aging slowly, I guess, because he's still here. But as much as he rambles on for a bit, he apologizes for going off on this tangent. Never mind me and my days, Terry. I hear that today you're going to be entering into some combat training. How are you feeling about this?
Less than thrilled, to be honest.
Less than thrilled. Well, why would that be?
most of the time when I was forced to confrontation, it wasn't used to using it to defend.
Mm-hmm.
You could say I'm out of my element.
I see. If you don't mind me asking, are you feeling comfortable in the crime-fighting course?
Yeah.
Because
It's the way I can see myself being applied most efficiently.
you do know that we have the support course if you wanted to go strictly for interrogation or anything like that.
I'm not one for being restricted. It's merely a matter of adapting.
Well, I'm quite pleased to hear you adapting regardless of your discomfort. And remember, of course, as I always say, probably ad nauseum, if you ever need to talk about anything or need any help, I'm always here for you. Now, additionally, we spoke briefly before on your power and your usage of it. And I see that you still really have not used it, for good reason, I assume, but going into your course today, do you think you will have a place to use it, or are you still holding back, as it were?
I made a conscious effort to not become something to be feared here. It would serve no purpose. But I will have to learn how to use my power in a more constructive way. So I'm afraid at some point, regardless of consequences I may see, even if they're not real, I will have to take that leap. Why not today?
Well, I do hope you are able to stretch your legs just a little bit. Practicing using your power will be very important going forward, not just for your job, but, well, for yourself in general. It is always good to become accustomed to who and what you are in this world where people are more than just, well, you know how it is. Of course, me speaking to you, being here since before everything happened, I may be one of the few people so nostalgic and hung up on such ideas. And he just kind of smiles pleasantly and continues with his salad, giving you kind of a pause to eat, maybe ask him any questions that you might be curious about or so on.
Barry would just eat his pizza. He's just... This company is pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
More so than most other people who are already judging him and such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you know that you've had a couple of meetings with Liberty Eagle here. And last time, or I guess, towards the beginning of your first week, when you came here for the first time during classes, you bumped into Echo and you saw, oh, hey, we're both in programs that, we come to the counselor every so often. But judging that you came today, you can't tell if Echo has less frequent visits to the counselor than you do in his program, or if you guys are just sort of being set to schedules that are different, sort of offset when you come to the office. But regardless, it does seem like consistently you're going to be coming in and speaking to Liberty Eagle, which is good, that consistency. But without any more questions or any more serious topics of discussion, Liberty Eagle waffles on a little bit more, just kind of, talking about his days in school and things that he did to sort of make it a bit easier on himself. And eventually, the bell rings, and you exit, make your way out to your locker, grab your things, and you head to history class, where you quickly see him again as your teacher. And we'll move to the school hallway.
We just move to a different room to talk again.
Yeah, he, of course, teaches the class, as always. You get to hear him talk this time about the war in a different context, with what went on during the war and such. But your day continues as usual, and eventually history passes, and you make your way through the halls and open the door to Homeroom to see everyone else standing around and checking out these strange boxes on their desks. You walk over and inspect one, a moderately sized, reinforced black metal crate. The mechanical crate unfolds when a lever on the side is pulled, revealing a school tracksuit for most people. And because, of course, you remember, we're going into the physical training today. Nightwalker mentioned that there's, like, a basic uniform for most people that don't have hero costumes. The tracksuit itself is a deep maroon with a bright gold trim with a stylized star on the back. And it seems to be made of some very lightweight and bulletproof material. And it does have what looks like a collapsible boxing helmet, which you can see Echo and Lily groaning about in the distance. However, there are others whose boxes hold their hero costumes, including yours. Inside of your crate is an upgraded version of your original suit. When you think back, Nightwalker urged you to send it into the costume department to have it evaluated. Looking at it now, it feels new and fresh, regardless of having the same design. Yours also came with a note. Your suit, the note says, in quotes, your suit has been modified slightly with improved armor padding and bulletproofing, as we do with all of our standard costumes. As well, we added a filter inside of your face mask so that you can, we added a filter inside of your face mask that you can turn on and off, which connects to valves in your palms and your boots in order to help with applying your power. So yeah, you can just see that they kind of, they did a little minor upgrade to your suit, something they thought would help you out, but otherwise it's basically the same suit, just kind of, a little more tech than you originally had access to, but something that might make it a little easier to apply yourself and maybe direct your abilities. And as you're looking over your suit and kind of looking around the room, you see that some people did not get crates, much like Priscilla, who already has a hero costume licensed by her parents' company. Joey and Aiden also did not receive crates because they can't really wear the costumes made by the school. Their bodies don't really call for it. While all the main characters are having conversations amongst themselves, are there any students in the class you're wanting to check out and talk to?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay.
Not unprompted.
Well, yeah, as everyone's looking over what they got, and some people are noting, of course, that they got nothing at all, Nightwalker steps into the room. He kind of is like, oh yes, of course you've all found your costumes now, and you hear Lily and Echo a little bit going on about the helmets, talking about the tracksuits in general, and basically being shut down as it's like, hey, you gotta wear your costume or you don't get to participate, which of course, rubs them the wrong way. But eventually, he addresses the whole room. Now, get to the changing rooms, and be quick about it. Of course, quickly following orders, everyone rushes to the changing room and dons their new uniforms. And of course, you see everyone donning the uniforms you now see in our little handouts. Evan also being one of the people who did not receive a uniform. It seems that his hair sort of lashes out and wraps around his body, kind of like a symbiote suit, and creates his hero costume, his eyes glowing over when he does such. Once prepared, Nightwalker escorts everyone out of the school. At first you think you might be heading to the track until you pass it by, and you see you're continuing towards a large dome-shaped building in the distance. You may have seen it before in the background, but you were never quite sure what it was. You walk up to its front doors and step inside, surrounded by your costumed classmates. And when you step through the doors, you see this.
Steady or like...
Yes, when you step inside of this dome-shaped building and you look across, you see a sprawling cityscape. You see a sprawling cityscape stretching ahead of you with a vast, clear blue sky overhead. But that should be impossible. Nightwalker speaks up. Welcome to the Dome, Star Heights Academy's state-of-the-art training grounds. Within this dome, we utilize bleeding-edge AR simulation technology to create a variety of environments and situations so that you may be ready for anything. Today we tread simply on the streets of Terminal City, Don't worry about reaching the edge of the dome, as the simulation adjusts itself and your perception to give us as much space as we need. Essentially, it's bigger on the inside when it needs to be, to a point. Everyone, of course, is looking around in awe, as no one in your class has ever seen anything this crazy before. Step forward. Your training begins now. Everyone steps forward and enters the dome, and you look around to all of your costumed classmates. Whether they're wearing the tracksuit or a custom-made hero costume, everyone enters as just that, a hero. You all walk through the front door, ready for your next lesson to begin. After stepping inside, Nightwalker turns to you all to explain today's activity. Today is simple. I will be dividing you into teams and sending you to different parts of the city for combat training. Waypoints will appear on the maps in your student handbooks. That is your destination. Once you arrive, you will see a crime taking place. Stop the crime, then move to your next location. Some of you may feel as though you don't have any room to step in, or that your powers can't be used here. That's no excuse. Find a way to help, and get the job done. If you do nothing, your grade will be nothing. Don't needlessly get in your teammates' way, but aid the cause. Understood? And everyone responds with a resounding, "Yes, sir!" Good. Then the teams are as follows. He swipes his hand through the air, and a notification pops up on your handbook, showing you the entirety of each team. Team number 1 is Hipmoth, Wild Style, Colony Man, and Thunderstroke, also known as Triffany, Evan, Nelson, and Danny. A powerhouse team, really. Team number 2 is Reverb, Grimrot, H2O, and Gorgon, also known as Gabe, Olivia, Aiden, and Maya. That team definitely looks like it would probably be carried by Gabe under most circumstances. Team number 3 has a lot of familiar faces, with Gravitas, Joey, Echo, and Lily. And of course, Gravitas is Alex. You know all of them pretty well from hanging around them. And finally, you see team number 4. Mirage, Night Terror, Dartling, and Necromantic. This is your team, with Priscilla, Robert, and Lawrence. Excuse me. And also, were you going to say something?
No, it's just the best team.
Okay.
We're just the best team.
Yeah, as you see your team, you kind of look around. Priscilla doesn't seem super excited, kind of looking off to the side, minding, her own business, looking at her phone. But, when you look over to Robert, he kind of flashes you a little thumbs up with what looks like kind of a blank stare because of his frog eyes. And Lawrence just kind of seems annoyed at the whole situation.
Oh. Is Terry in costume right now?
Yes, you are.
Okay. He'd clap his hands and laugh a bit, and then wave to his teammates.
When you do that, Robert seems excited. He kind of walks over towards you. Lawrence kind of stays a few steps away, but is just watching you two. And as Robert comes up, he says, "Well, looks like we're gonna have to really kick it into high gear today."
Indeed. Very exciting.
After reading through all of the teams, another notification pops up. A map of the simulated city with a waypoint marker for where your team needs to go. Good luck, everyone. Remember your priorities, and soar higher. With that, Nightwalker disappears in a flicker of light as if he was a hologram. You have no idea when the real Nightwalker was replaced, making this even more jarring. After a moment of confusion, everyone quickly heads off towards their waypoints. You see that Team 1 basically starts jumping across rooftops with, Triffany flying through the air, Evan, aka Wild Style, swinging through the streets using his long hair tendrils, Colony Man running along the rooftops, and Thunderstroke blitzing after him, almost like a living lightning bolt. Team 2 descends the building, going down to the city streets below, and, basically runs towards their destination. And Team 3, with Alex, Joey, Echo, and Lily, they all look like they're about to start running before Joey transforms into a Jeep. They all hop in, start blaring the radio, and roll off down the road singing to, popular pop music. Your team descends towards the city streets, and Mirage basically runs off kind of without you guys ahead of you. so you're kind of forced to follow behind her as, you're running along pretty normally. Dartling is, frog hopping alongside you, and Necromantic is running along in the back, just kind of complaining to himself about the jog. And as you're going along, Robert kind of looks back to Lawrence and then gives a little croak and a chuckle and says, "He's gonna have a tough time today."
That's why we're gonna have to help him.
And Robert looks to you and gives you a little nod. As you cut through the city towards your goal, looking to your map for guidance, you actually notice that you can see where other teams are, and it seems that you can pull up footage to check in on how they're doing. This may be worth doing between tasks. With that, we'll get you to your first destination.
The robot.
Yeah. As we get here, you charge down the road, and you see a wave of destruction ahead of you. A cluster of drones are flying around overhead, maybe 20 feet in the air, firing laser blasts down at the street. You can see down the road where an explosion has caused a pileup of cars, all burning. I'll show this to everyone watching. Your handbook lights up with special text. Level 1. So yeah, as you're coming down the road and you're kind of trying to figure out what to do, Mirage just charges ahead. Oh, actually, let me change this to the gray border, because that is NPC Priscilla. Yeah, as you get here, do you want to do anything off the bat, like assess the situation, or charge in and go to a specific drone to deal with the situation? What is Terry's plan of attack initially?
Oh, Terry's gonna assess the situation before he goes in.
Okay. Then with that, to assess the situation, roll Superior for me.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, never mind.
Oh, okay. Full hit. Alright. Let's see here. To assess the situation, you get to ask 2 questions from the Assess the Situation list, or any question similar. The questions are, what here can I use to blank? You can fill in the blank. What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? And how could we best end this quickly? You get to ask 2 questions.
How could we best end this quickly? And the first one.
Alright, let's see. How best we could end this quickly. Let's start with that one. So obviously there is a burning pileup of cars on the other side of the road, and there are clusters of drones. You get the idea that if you could take out each cluster of drones in one fell swoop, that would help end the situation very quickly. As some of them are close enough together that a big enough attack could easily wipe all of them out. As for the first question, are you asking what's the biggest threat, or what here can you use to blank?
What's the biggest threat?
The biggest threat here really seems to be the 3 drones in the middle. They seem to be actively looking around, blasting at cars, and, if you assume that if you move forward, blasting at you, while the other 2 drones that are hovering around the burning pile of cars seem to be kind of prioritizing the burning pile of cars. It seems like they're kind of looking around for what would be survivors. And now, as you act towards those questions to try to solve the situation, you actually get a +1 on whatever your next roll is against the situation.
Okay.
But as you're assessing the situation, trying to figure stuff out, Priscilla is going to charge in, and she's going to do this. She's going to charge in, and alongside her, basically splitting from her body in a glimmer of light, are 3 mirror copies of herself. As she it at first seems to be running towards those drones that are flying around in the middle before she quickly darts and weaves under them, going towards the burning pile of cars with all of her clones.
Okay.
And yeah, it's your turn to act on the situation. It seems that Robert is ready to jump in, and Lawrence is just kind of like... you can tell from his posture that he's very lackadaisical about the situation. But it seems that you're kind of the most ready to charge in there, since you were assessing everything as quickly as you were.
Okay. Do the drones react to Priscilla?
It seems like as she's running under them, they all like target her and are looking at her as she goes by. So now they have their backs turned to you.
Okay. Is talking a free action? Or like planning? Okay. So, as Priscilla runs in, like someone who doesn't think. Firstly, Terry makes a mental note of that, because that's not good. She's done that twice now. He turns to best character in the entire... he turns to Robert.
Yeah.
Or Dartling. Mm-hmm. And he says, I'll be the distraction. And then he'd look to his left and gesture to the fire hydrant, and then to himself, and then to the drones.
Okay.
Hoping that Robert can make the connection of to what he's trying to plan here.
Mm-hmm. Robert nods to you.
Okay. After that, Terry's gonna go over to this garbage can. If you can I move there?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so Robert would go to this trash can. He'd take the trash can lid and he'd throw it at this drone.
Okay. Yeah. As you're doing that, Robert hops up onto the wall and seems to hop along the wall with his sticky hands and feet before jumping down over here next to the fire hydrant. And as you go to pick up the trash can lid and frisbee toss it through the air at that first drone, roll danger for me. To directly engage.
One I have.
That is something.
Oh, I get a +1.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Nice. Let's see. That +1 was added, right? Oh, was it added? Oh, yeah, it was added. Okay. Good. So let's see. To directly engage a threat, you got an 8, so you get to pick one from the list. Normally, when you directly engage a threat, on a hit, you trade blows. So you get to pick one. You can either resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
Okay, so I can take something. Can I take their attention?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I'm going to take their attention from Priscilla.
All right. And do you want the attention of the drones that are near this one as well? Or do you just want that one drone?
Just all of them.
Okay.
The 3.
Yeah. Then you toss your trash can lid through the air. It hits the first drone and almost like Captain America style, bounces off of him into the next one and slams into the ground behind it. Obviously, the third one sees this, and they all turn to look towards you. So Priscilla is able to continue on towards the burning pile of cars. At this, Robert is going to grab basically the end of the fire hydrant that would be unscrewed normally, but you hear a hissing and a little bit of smoke rising as he touches it, and it kind of makes it corrode a little bit as he touches it, just very slightly, before he kicks it off with his very powerful leg. Now, when you were gesturing to yourself, did you want him to shoot the water at you or at the robots?
Oh, he was his plan. He didn't really say it, communication issues, but he wanted to get the drones going towards him in a group, and then he wanted them to
get them towards you, and then he sprays the water in your direction. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, as they look over at you, they would come closer very quickly. And as they're flying down towards you, kind of, starting to close in on you, all charging up and getting ready to start firing blasts. And they're still up in the air. But Robert is able to corrode the little bolt on the fire hydrant just enough so that he can high power kick it off. And he sprays water up in the air like a fountain, and is able to hit these 2 robots. And as the high-pressure water sprays over them, it actually knocks them in the distance and across the asphalt of the street, and they start wigging out, sparking with electricity, and that knocks those 2 robots out instantly, to which Robert gives a pleasant little croak. However, this last drone is still over here outside of the water spray, and it is going to try to fire a laser at you. So, I want you to roll to take a powerful blow. And that'll be above your conditions.
So just roll conditions?
Yes. Do you see under conditions where it says take a powerful blow? You see, it's on the top right of your sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, let's see. That is a hit. So when you take a powerful blow, and you're rolling for that, you're basically rolling for the enemy to hit you. So since you got a 7, you get to choose one. You can either lash out verbally to provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence over someone to inflict a condition. You can give ground, giving your opposition. You can give ground, giving your opposition an opportunity, or you can struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions. And you do see Lawrence over here in the back, not really trying yet. He's kind of just standing around watching this happen.
Oh, so like the first one I can like call someone out, basically?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm calling out Lawrence.
Okay, yeah, what do you shout out to him as you're, like, under laser fire and, like, you know, kind of using the trash can as partial cover?
Stop freezing up, hero.
As you call out to him, Lawrence kind of jumps as you shout in his direction. He's like, fucking fine. And he'll run forward, and through the air, his scarf with teeth is going to come to life, and is going to kind of start snapping in the air towards the drone. And he just calls out, like, can we just please get this done? I hate having to run around like this. And as his teeth are, like, gnashing at this drone, it kind of gets nicked a little bit by it, enough to sort of pull its attention away from you. Robert then hopping up on top of this car, and he calls out to you, Terry, and says, I'm gonna go help Priscilla with the fire over here. And then he jumps along to continue on. So, what do you want to do now that Lawrence has sort of gotten the attention of this drone that's on you?
How high up in the air is it?
At this point, it's about, like, 10 to 15 feet. It's kind of lowered down as it closed in on you.
Drones don't feel fear.
It's true.
Well, that's actually not proven. Don't know if machines feel fear. We'll have to mess with that one in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna treat it as an amoeba situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you said that, like, I have the ability to, like, shoot out my mist through my costume, can I shoot out enough mist to blind it, even though it has no effect on it?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
You could. It would basically be like a long inhale and long exhale as you're focusing it through, like, your palm or something, like kind of a concentrated stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What would that be? I'll say that's to unleash your powers. You're affecting the environment.
Okay.
So yeah, let's roll for freak and see how well this goes.
The fear smoke screen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a hit. And also, you haven't needed this yet. You did fail on rumors, so you can mark 1 potential for that. But every time you mark a miss, or every time you roll a miss, remember to mark potential. And if you fill your potential track, which is at, like, the bottom left of your character sheet, you can basically, like, continue filling it after that, and that'll just show us how many advancements you get. But yeah, that is an 8. So, let's see. You can either mark a condition to make it work how you want, or I can tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary.
Like, I can mark a condition on the robot?
On yourself. In order to make
On myself.
In order to make this power work how you want to, you can either mark a condition on yourself, or I can tell you how it's unstable or temporary.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, Terry's afraid. Because he's using his powers.
Okay.
That bothers him.
Cool. Yeah, you spray your mist ahead, up in the air, and kind of put a smoke screen around this thing. Or actually, how do you want to put the smoke screen for what you're intending to do? What's kind of happening here?
Well, he'd shoot out the blast, and it would hit it, and then it would kind of spread out into, like, almost like a mist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And because, like, the smoke, or at least how I see it in my brain, is kind of, like, it's got, like, it's dense.
Mm-hmm.
So it just blind it.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe we've got a smoke screen, like... Let's say it's spreading out like this.
Yeah.
And as it, like, hits it and starts spreading around, you know, Lawrence kind of stumbles back and looks to you and just says, like, "Whoa! What is that? Some kind of smoke screen?"
Oh, Terry would just say, "Don't breathe it in." And that's all he'd say about it.
When you say that, his scarf moves itself to cover his face, and he kind of pales a bit. He's like, "Does he shoot out poison? What is that?" And he just kind of stays away from it and moves over here, kind of staying back from the robot. And you can kind of see a little bit of the light in the middle of the mist as lasers start firing out randomly. And, you know, it kind of, like, hits the trash can, hits the fire hydrant in the distance, hits, like, right next to Lawrence where he's walking in this direction. But it's just sort of, like, shooting lasers in a sort of panic in the middle of the mist, as it isn't able to see a target. Briefly, meanwhile, down here at the group of burning cars, we can see that Mirage is working as, like, a one-woman unit, basically. Basically, like, jumping from one clone to another to get leverage in order to fist fight this robot in the air. And as Robert comes over and is ready to attack this second drone, you know, she axe kicks this drone out of the air, and then she does, like, a little flourish, a little flip, shoots a light laser at the drone Robert was going towards, and blasts it out of the air, to which Robert's shoulders slump, and he just kind of looks over at Mirage, who lands and gives a bit of a scoff, kind of dusting off her shoulders. But it seems like your drone is the last one in this situation. So, now that it is in the fog, and it seems to be kind of lowering down even a little bit more, what do you want to do?
Grab the bottom of the trash can and then just spin toss it into the drone.
Cool. Alright, roll to directly engage a threat for me.
Oh, but I have -2 to that.
Oh no, that's danger.
Yeah, because I'm afraid, right?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
-2. Oh. Oh.
Ooh, let's see here. Alright. That is a miss, so what does that mean for this? Yeah, you pick up the trash can, kind of toss it through the air. You see it land in the distance as, you know, it's kind of hard for you to throw a trash can into this cloud of mist and hit your target. You would think it'd be easier because it's so big. But you miss as the drone kind of swoops down towards the ground right underneath the mist, and starts basically, like, peppering your feet with lasers in order to, like, get you to kind of dance and move back. And as it is going to move towards you, Lawrence is going to have his little scarf lash out at the thing and try to bite at it, and, you know, kind of just gets its attention for a moment, giving you another opportunity to act.
So it's closer to the ground now?
Yes.
Okay, well, like, he's gonna run through his own smoke and just try and, like, hit it then.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. That'll be the same roll with directly engage a threat.
I could just run away. That's not how that would happen. Hey.
There you go. All right. So once again, you can resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition. So basically, you're thinking, like, if you come in, you'll be able to get this thing a good kick, but you'll probably get, like, a laser in the leg. So resist or avoid their blows would mean, like, you're explicitly kicking them to not get a laser in the leg.
Oh, no. Like, Terry's afraid, but he knows if you just, like, avoid a threat, it can just hurt you more. So he's going to try and, like, kick it into Wizard Boy here to try and give him a better opportunity to deal with it.
Okay. Yeah, you run over into the smoke, and you, like, soccer ball kick this thing towards him, and it kind of, like, bops off the wall a bit, and he stumbles back, like, and his scarf is going to lash out like a Venus flytrap, bite this thing, and just slam it into the wall, shattering it. And at that, the situation is completed. As you see, there are no more robots in the area. Let me get you some mood music for the background of this. Your smoke eventually dissipates after, not too long. And Lawrence is, like, sweating a bit, having the robot fly towards him. But as the last drone is dispatched, your handbook lights up with the text, "Clear!" And your next waypoint appears on the map. Additionally, it seems like some of the other teams have started moving around, as again, you can check on them if you so desire between tasks.
Oh, yeah. He'd check on them, but before that, he'd look at Lawrence and go, "Good job. Well done."
Lawrence looks at you, and he kind of narrows his eyes, and he's like, whatever. He kind of just walks over to this wall and leans against it. And after the cold response, Robert hops along down the road, stands up and says, "Hey, you were pretty good out there, Terry. Or Night Terror."
Thank you.
And then, the beeping happens, and he looks at his handbook too, and he says, "Oh, looks like some of the other teams have started moving around." And he kind of starts clicking around and looking at people. Who do you want to check out?
Like how they're doing?
Yeah, you can check on overall teams or specific people if you want.
I'm gonna check on Nelson.
Okay. You check on Nelson, and Robert's kind of, like, looking over your shoulder as you do. And you see that Team 1 is in the middle of a situation where it seems like they're fighting humanoid droids. And Colony Man is, duplicating himself, making clones to assist his teammates, as he's basically all over the battlefield. You see him, like, sending clones over to Wildstyle, Evan, who is, like, restraining foes with his hair, while Nelson, like, kind of helps knock them out. You see a duplicate of Nelson, like, kicking off of a wall and grabbing Triffany's hands as she spins around and throws him at another foe. And you really see him engaging in a lot of close quarters combat. And as opposed to, like, the track meet where he was just sort of trying to run and catch up to people, and dodgeball where, he really got knocked out before he thought to use his powers, in this, it seems like he's in his element. Like, he looks like a professional, and he's just getting shit done.
Mark that down in the mental notes. Oh, also, I completed because I failed that one roll, I completed the
potential.
What's it called again? The influence. Yeah, the potential.
Yeah, nice. Mark down that you did that somewhere, that you completed your one potential track, and then you can clear it so that if you miss any other rolls, you can continue to fill it out. Like, if you got 5 more misses throughout the entire rest of the session, you could get 2 advancements, which are basically like level ups. But yeah, okay. Robert kind of watches that happen and is like, wow, he kind of talks a big game. I didn't expect him to actually be that good.
He takes his job seriously.
Yeah.
As everyone should. That was a jab, by the way. Intentional. But veiled.
At Robert, or do you mean, like, in Lawrence's direction?
Oh, in Lawrence's direction, but just in general.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's backhanded, but, like, it's not directed anywhere.
Robert kind of nods, and he says, "We've got a good opportunity to show off our stuff today. Although I'm surprised there were no civilians to save. Although I guess I don't know how they would really do that here."
True. I assume there are multiple different tasks and multiple different scenarios that would suit towards different beings.
it did say level 1, so we probably have a little ways to go. Well,
Indeed.
I guess we should get moving. It's a shame none of us can fly or turn into a jeep.
Have to make do with what you have.
He nods. And Mirage is just kind of over here texting on her phone, and she just says, like, can we get going already? I'd like to be one of the first teams done.
Night Terror would ignore that, and he'd look. He'd just ignore it completely. Wouldn't even like entertain the fact that was said. And he'd look to Dartling and go, "Actually, you bring up a good point. You have mobility on me, so if there are any situations where we need to emulate saving someone, I'd prefer if you focused on that rather than combat."
He smiles at that and gives a little croak with a nod, and he says, "That is what I hope my specialty could be, so I'll definitely work on that for you."
Alright then. And then he'd look over to Lawrence and just kind of like do a little head tilt out in the direction they're gonna go. He already assumes Priscilla's already moving.
Yeah,
he doesn't even like.
Priscilla's kind of like walking on, and when you look over and do the head nod, Lawrence rolls his eyes and starts walking with you, and he just says like, "I don't even know why we have to do this. Like, we're just beating up robots, right? Like, it's no big deal. Like, just hit stuff really hard."
More about fostering a mindset. Practice is only as useful as the person practicing makes it. So if it's useless, that's a you problem. After that, he'd walk ahead. He wouldn't even give him a chance to like talk back to him.
He just groans to himself. Robert like walks by and gives him a little croak as he walks with you. And Lawrence, just groans to himself and mutters in the background as you all continue on. And you end up, you walk down the road. Your next location isn't super far away. It's kind of down the road around a corner. But eventually, you make your way to it. And you find yourselves here. So, in this situation, let me open this up. You all move down the road towards your next destination, quickly noticing cars scattered about and a few robots exiting what looks like a small store down here to the right. The robots are, oddly enough, acting like robbers, one even holding a large bag with a $sign on it. "We've got the goods, let's scram!" It seems like you're up against the school's training droids now. Some of them have foam bats, while others have what look like pistols. Your handbook lights up with special text. Level 2. And at this, you kind of have a car that's parked right near you that seems like it would be good to use as cover. But Mirage, very quickly, as is always the case, jumps over, kind of like, jumps off the edge of the car, summons a few of her mirror clones in a line, and they run ahead into the middle of the street towards the opposition. What do you do, Terry? Do you charge in with her, stay behind cover?
I pick both. So,
Pick both.
What Night Terror is going to do... Can we open these car doors? Like, do
Yes.
they open?
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to try and break the door off of the car.
Oh my god. Okay, you open up the car door, and you're gonna try to break you're gonna try to break it off.
Yeah.
Let me think.
If that's not feasible, he'd ask for help from Dartling with the acid, because he saw he did that to the fire hydrant.
Okay. Yeah, you open the car door and you kind of motion to Dartling. He hops around and he uses his hands to touch little key parts of the door in order to help them corrode a bit. And it doesn't seem like acid or anything. It just seems like whatever toxins his hands give off is enough to kind of help weaken it just a little bit. But as it weakens and you hear it creaking, like, oh god, this is a little much. And Lawrence just kind of laughs at you and is like, "You really think you can rip a car door off of a car? Come on, hey, let me show you how it's done." And he's going to walk forward. His little, scarf pet is going to come off, bite part of the car door next door. You're grabbing it. He's going to groan really loudly as he walks backward, and the scarf like kind of tightens around his shoulders. But eventually his scarf helps with your effort and pulls the car door off with you. And he kind of stumbles back a bit. Just goes, "Ha! Yeah! There it is."
Thank you. Movable cover.
And Robert kind of blinks at you and says, "Oh, that was a good idea. Good thing we got that off." And he hop back behind you. But yeah, as you do that, you kind of look past the car in the distance, and you see that, you know, Mirage is moving ahead towards these goons, in, again, a line formation, with all of her mirror clones, you know, basically acting and doing the same. And this guy at the front and the drone at the back react like, it's the fuzz, open fire, and start, like, you know, firing off shots at her, and, you know, she's bobbing and weaving. Her mirror clones don't really seem to mind it. But it seems like you've got an opportunity to move while she's distracting them at the front, just kind of running headfirst in.
I assume Lawrence's scarf is still carrying the car door?
It kind of let go of it, so, you know, you're able to, like, have it in front of you, but it's definitely a little heavy, but you think that two people could carry it along.
Could Lawrence's scarf carry it by itself?
You ask him that, and he goes, like, probably.
Could you run distraction? Double distraction. And he'd point in this direction, like asking him to move the car door in front of the car. That, like, he assumes these are getaway drivers, so they're meant to emulate getaway drivers.
Yeah. He kind of looks at you and he's like, do I have to?
It would be appreciated.
Fine, sure, whatever. And his scarf will grab the car door on one side, kind of biting it like an alligator as his hands hold the part of the car door on the inside you would normally grab. And he holds it in front of himself like a Reinhardt shield. He's like, all right, get out of my way.
You would.
You want me to just stand out there, or?
Get in their way. If I assume that they're going to attempt to escape. Not sure how long Priscilla can hold them off.
All right. And he just half-heartedly jogs out here down onto the crosswalk and holds the car door up in front of himself, which some of the robots, like, look to the side and seem to notice as he initially gets out there. What about you?
He'd then say, I think that's enough of distraction now for us to move. And
Robert croaks.
So he's going to try and move down behind this car.
Okay.
Just across the street.
Robert will hop along with you. And as you guys move down this way, you kind of, like, you get behind this car door and you're kind of like, or you get behind this car rather, and you're kind of like looking at the situation, trying to figure something out, and suddenly you hear the dinging of a bell and a door being kicked open. As these guys pop out of the store below. These guys, like, you know, basically bust their way out of the store, holding another money bag, and, you know, you quickly pull yourself behind this car, keeping yourself hidden from them, but they look ahead and say, "Let's join the boys," as some of these guys with foam bats start running off towards Priscilla. And this guy with the gun here seems to have the money bag.
Okay. So... Okay. Terry's just gonna motion to the fire hydrant, and then the other two, and just go, take two. And then he's gonna just go try and jump kick the one with the money bag. He trusts Dartling to handle the two there in front of the fire hydrant. He's done this.
Okay. Yeah. Dartling nods, hops on top of the car as you go forward. And as you go to jump kick this drone, just roll danger for me to directly engage a threat.
Danger. Danger. Please hit. Yes.
Yes. Alright. Once again, you get to pick one from the list. You can resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
Well, he's gonna try and surprise this robot.
Okay. So
Robot's gonna be surprised.
that's true. I'll say you're already able to jump and surprise him since you're specifically
Okay.
doing a sneak attack, so you don't have to pick that one.
Okay, the first one then. Avoid its blows if it tries to retaliate.
Okay.
But still go for a kick.
Yeah, you basically like slide along the front of the car, jump off, kick this thing in the head, and it causes the robot to stumble back, and it tries to unload a few shots in your direction. You weave out of the way, having fought plenty of dudes with guns before. You may have fought your fair share of police in your day, but you eventually give him another swift kick to the stomach, and it causes this robot to stumble back. In response, what is this guy gonna do? Let's see. This is a good question. What is he gonna do? Yeah, he's not in a crazy good position here. So he is going to try and run away from you, and he's gonna run in this direction. As he does, Robert long jumps through the air onto this fire hydrant. These two have like kind of headed towards Priscilla a little bit more as they're trying to get behind her, because she's sort of again still forming a wall and closing in on the drones that are close to the first store. But as Robert hops onto this fire hydrant, he lashes out with his tongue and whips this drone in the head, causing him to stumble back towards you before jumping towards this melee drone in the street and kicking him in the head. So you've got another opportunity to keep fighting this guy as he stumbles back in your direction.
Stumbles back. Okay, so he's there now. Terry's here again. God dang. Can't you feel fear? Why aren't you advanced enough? Whatever. That's fine.
These damn
It has a gun, right?
It does have a gun.
Is it attached to him?
No, it seems like this is a separate pistol, which on closer inspection, it looks like a sort of model gun that's like firing out pellet shots. So they're not actually shooting bullets at you guys, but for the sake of the simulation, it's a gun.
Okay. So he's just gonna go to tackle the robot then.
Alright,
Close quarters.
close quarters combat, baby. Is that 8 the danger you just rolled, or do you need to roll again?
I need to roll again.
Okay.
For the tackle?
Yes.
Yeah, I need to roll again.
Okay. Give me that danger roll, baby.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, you run towards him, and you kind of like go to charge and tackle him, but as he stumbles over here, he steps out of the way as you do so, and he is going to fire off a shot at you. So roll to take a powerful blow.
Oh, I have a 1 beside conditions now. Like, does that do anything to the situational bonus and penalty?
It'll automatically apply.
Okay.
Basically, it means that the more conditions you have, the more likely you are to keep getting hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an 8. So you're once again going to be able to choose one from that take a powerful blow list. You can lash out at somebody, give ground, or struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions.
Okay. 2 conditions.
You're going...
Oh my lord. Oh yeah. Fight. Okay. So there's fight past the pain.
Mm-hmm. You can give
What would
ground
that
and
do?
give them an opportunity.
Oh, he's not gonna give them an opportunity. Hell no. Checkmated them. Now he just needs to like not fuck this up, regardless of cost to himself.
Oh god. So are you going to struggle past the pain?
What would that do?
If you struggle past the pain, you have to mark 2 conditions, and you can
Okay.
also lash out verbally at somebody to provoke a
No one's
teammate
done
to
anything
throw
wrong.
the action.
No one. Yeah, it'll fight past the pain. No one's done anything wrong, and he's not giving them an opportunity because things are working out well.
Okay. Yeah, you struggle past the pain. What 2 conditions are you marking, and how does that kind of flavor like what Terry's thinking and feeling?
I'm gonna mark insecure because he couldn't deal with one robot by himself. I'm gonna mark guilty because he's messing up his own plans.
Oh god, okay. Alright. yeah, you struggle past the pain as this thing fires 2 shots, but into your shoulder and your thigh. But of course, they bounce off. You get hurt, but it's just a pellet, and you're thankful that you've got bulletproof clothing. However, you hear like little buzzers as you get hit, denoting like, uh-oh, you just got shot in the simulation. But you're struggling past the pain, and you get an opportunity to do another action, if you so please. Meanwhile, in the distance, to give us more of what is happening in the scene, Robert jumps off to the back of this melee grunt, kicks him in the back of the head, knocking him onto the ground, and then lashes his tongue out like a whip, hitting the other melee guy and knocking him flat on his ass. Mirage had closed in already and is basically already fighting and disarming this gun grunt with her other 2 mirror copies on either side, acting kind of as shields to the main Priscilla as she is fighting this guy close up, with this melee grunt trying to get in, and the other grunt with a gun firing off a few shots in the direction of Lawrence, who is kind of moving down the way and holding up the car door and just saying, "You guys should hurry up, I'm getting tired." And then we look back down here at what everybody else is doing. So yeah, what do you want to do in this situation?
Harry will remember that. I'm getting tired. Fine. It's fine. That's fine. It's a fine thing to say. I'm gonna fucking put this kid in the toilet. Whatever. Okay. So Terry's gonna try and smoke screen this guy off.
Okay. Do you want to aim it in any area to try to like make a wide smoke screen to hit anybody else, or just kind of in your guys' space?
Oh, this guy's on his butt and doesn't have a gun. Frosby can handle himself against this one, he assumes. Priscilla is 3 people. She's like the 1-person SWAT unit. Doesn't worry about that. And he assumes his plan with Lawrence is taking the attention of the other one with the gun. So he thinks they're fine. What he needs to do is smoke screen this one to give himself an advantage in the fight. Yeah. So yeah, he's just gonna solitarily smoke this one off.
Okay. You can either unleash your powers or directly engage a threat. I'll let you do either of those, since I know you have a bunch of conditions marked. So I don't know which one would be better for you, but both of those would
unleash
be
powers.
Accurate. Okay. Ooh, alright. Full hit. So yeah, you do it. You open your palms and you unleash a smoke screen around yourself. It clouds the area with your fog. And you can see that the drone stumbles back and kind of fires a few shots, and then he starts, like, buffering. You don't know why he's buffering. It seems like it's trying to process what it's supposed to do in this situation as it's in the middle of the mist. But either way, it gives you a perfect opportunity as you run up, and you basically have a perfect shot to knock this guy out. So how do you do it?
He'd run up and then just, like, jump and grab its head and try and just knee it in the face.
God. Yeah, you do it. You knee this guy in the face. He goes, flying onto his back, and he is out cold. You've officially finished this guy off. You kind of land in a cool hero pose in your smoke, still obscured from view.
Okay.
Well, let me draw that smoke out for us. Yeah, you got a good amount of smoke pouring out here. You land here, and you can hear Robert, very close up to this guy, jump over him, kick him in the back of the head from behind, just kind of moving around too quickly to be touched, and he knocks this guy on the ground. And as he looks to the other melee guy, he's getting up with his bat, and Priscilla in the distance has knocked this guy out with the butt of his own gun, and then she moves around this way and fires a laser at the other melee grunt, forcing him to fall back behind the car. Meanwhile, this dude's gonna move around and is going to start firing at Priscilla from behind, causing her to have to jump ahead a little bit and, watch both sides of herself as she's starting to get kind of cornered over here. Meanwhile, up at the top, Lawrence is still just sort of standing there with the car door. He kind of is going to walk down a little bit, but he's not really going to get, too close as they're not looking at him. So what's your plan now?
This one's knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
This one's moving in behind Priscilla, right?
He had initially had some laser blasts fired at him, so he got hit, dodged behind the car in order to hide, and now since his friend is firing off pot shots from behind her, it seems like they're about to scissor attack her, or pincer attack her.
Okie doke. Well, in that case, he's just gonna try and could he close the distance to grab its attention? This one?
Let's see here. Can you do that? That's pretty far away. You could run out here and try to distract him, but you can't get all the way to him.
Okay.
So yeah, you could run out, and if you want to roll superior, you could provoke him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, I might be terrible at that right now. Give me a second. There's a decent chance. Oh no, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. I never miss.
Okay.
I never miss. Yeah, so Terry's gonna run out and just try and provoke just to give Priscilla space.
Okay.
Superior. Oh no, I'm not good at that, but it's fine.
Let's see.
Oh dear
miss.
God.
Let's see. Provoke someone on a miss. Let's see. Someone's up to the words. Let's see. Which one? Yeah. You run out and basically call out to him. So you don't stop him from doing what he's doing, but it does give at least a signal to Priscilla to know oh shit, I'm being attacked on both sides. That guy is running away. As this guy moves to open fire in her direction, and he closes in on the closest Priscilla and bashes through her with his foam bat, shattering the clone. And these two, she kind of moves her clone in front of herself to block the bullets as she turns around and goes back to back and is readying to fight this guy. Meanwhile, Robert, he is kind of in a standoff with this melee guy over here, but seeing what you guys are up to, he jumps in this direction, jumps in the air, and basically grabs this guy's bat out of his hand with his tongue and pulls it over to himself, yanking this guy out of the way. And he kind of flashes you a thumbs up as if all right, you're good to go.
Yeah. Strategizing with my brain.
You got a few
Can't
options.
count on Lawrence to do anything. This dude gets tired for lifting with his powers. Got about as much incentive as a porcupine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. So he's gonna do what he can in distance. This one got disarmed, right? It lost its bat.
Yeah.
Can he try and hit it towards Dartling and go for a combo move because he took the bat from it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I'll have you do directly engage a threat, and we can add a team point from the team pool for Robert helping you out here.
Okay.
It'll say Priscilla's also going to add one because she was an initial distraction, so you'll get a +2 to this.
Okay. Wow. That offsets my afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
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 Hit. All right. Once again, you get to pick one from that list we've been going over. You can resist his blows, or avoid them rather. Take something from him, which I guess he doesn't really have anything anymore. Create an opportunity or surprise, but they're kind of creating an opportunity for you to hit him.
Yeah,
here.
so I'll just I'll avoid the blows because I assume everything else is kind of check marked.
Mm-hmm.
Because what Terry's doing here is he's just hitting it so Frosby can hit it better.
Okay. Yeah, you close the gap between you and this guy, and you give off a good couple of punches, knock him towards Frosby, who like jump kicks him into the back of this car and knocks him out. And Robert gives a loud open mouth croak, seemingly pleased with how that went, before he passes you the foam bat.
This I can work with.
As that happens, Priscilla, the real Priscilla, was facing that guy, so she saw what you guys did, and kind of looks to you as you guys share a moment of eye contact, and she kind of gives a nod and goes, "Nice," as she jumps to flip over her clone, after, this guy has to start reloading, points a finger at him, flashbangs him in the face, causing him to stumble back, and just sort of fall unconscious. So now, you guys have one last guy with a foam bat over here. And he looks around at you guys and starts moving back a little bit before turning around and going to try to flee.
Night Terror is just gonna go, try to, throw the bat and, have it, swing into the back of its knees. Trying just to take it out.
Yeah, you close the gap a little bit and try to throw your bat over towards this guy. Roll... I keep having you roll to directly engage a threat, but it is just so much of what you're doing. But yeah, it makes sense for this. So roll to directly engage a threat. Sadly, your bat flies through the air and misses this guy, and he gets a little bit further away. Priscilla and her clone are both firing off laser shots. They're kind of a little far away for them to directly hit. Robert hops up on top of the car and just yells, "Lawrence, throw the car door!" And he perks up and just like, okay. Lifts up the car door a little bit, the scarf then taking more of the load, and then he opens his book as this guy is running in the distance, casts some spell with eldritch tongues, before the car door starts spinning in the air with wind flowing around it, and it flies into the distance like a frisbee, smacks into this guy's back, and knocks him onto the ground unconscious. Probably horribly injured if it was a person.
Yeah, that's what Terry was thinking as to why he was doing things the way he was doing them. This guy's paraplegic.
This guy falls onto the ground with the car door onto the ground, and Lawrence goes, "Okay, are we done?" "Yeah, I think we're done." Hops onto the ground.
Terry would be panting and tired, and he'd kind of sit down for a bit, not kind of crouch almost, just to not be standing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then these two are close enough to talk to. He'd be like, "Good job, everyone. Good effort."
Robert croaks.
He'd look over at Lawrence. "Good job." He'd do a thumbs up.
Let me disappear these grunts, as I don't want to have them on the map anymore. But after being knocked out, they kind of they're out for a while, but as you guys are talking, you jump a little bit as they would eventually stand up, but they're just kind of getting up to leave. And your handbooks light up with the text "clear" as this job is done. Yeah, you motion to Priscilla and Robert, who her clone disappears. Robert gives a little croak, and Lawrence walks over in your direction. And Robert says, "I kind of panicked at the end telling you to throw the car door, but none of us were really close enough to do anything. How hard did you throw that car door? Because they're pretty heavy." "I mean, I threw it hard enough to hit him." Okay. I really hope that doesn't come back to bite us. Well, good job, everybody." "Yeah, good job, whatever." Just kind of... Priscilla moves over here to sit on the hood of the car and just like, "I'm ready to leave whenever you guys are."
You should head out immediately.
Robert kind of looks at you and says, "We can take a little break. You've been going really hard."
Crimes don't wait.
he just gives you he's giving you a level look when you say that, and he's like, respectable. And Lawrence just looks at you and says, "So why did you have me hold the car door? It felt like I wasn't really doing anything. I was just holding something really heavy."
Cutting off the exit path, providing a distraction for Priscilla, and surrounding them.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that was a good idea. Ugh. He just kind of, like, turns around. He's just, like, looking around the area, and he's like, the city's so boring. We couldn't have been doing this somewhere else.
I assume the locale wasn't their first... The aesthetics of our locale wasn't their immediate priority when creating the simulation.
Actually, it probably was, but only in the sense that they're trying to get us used to fighting in the city. And then he croaks. I'd rather just... It kind of seems like he keeps wanting to complain, but he also isn't putting in enough effort to actually complain. Dude, why are you so, like... I don't know, it seems like you don't even want to be here. I don't want to be here!
Well, you're here regardless. Might as well make the best of it.
This doesn't matter for me. Like, fighting dudes in the streets, like, I'm not gonna be doing this. This isn't, like, what I get enough practice. Like, practicing my spells and shit. This isn't gonna help me. I don't know what Nightwalker wants from me. Like, does he expect me to start busting out moves like you? Like, no. Come on, this just isn't fair.
Hero's job is not just to do what they're good at, it's to adapt the situation.
Well, I'm not
a hero. You might find yourself.
I'm not a hero. I'm... Whatever. He kind of just... It seems like he's just kind of putting himself in a bad mood.
Yeah. Terry has no way of dealing with that. He's just gonna let him keep going.
Robert walks over like, alright, really hard to talk to him in general, but especially when he's like this, I guess. You want to check how some of the others are doing?
Oh. It totally slipped his mind. Like, he was so focused on, like, what he was doing, he forgot, like, indeed.
Yeah.
Anyone you want to check up on? He'd ask, probably.
I'd like to see how Joey's doing, I think.
Alright then. We check up on Jeep Agility.
Yeah. You guys tap away and look at it. And you see a scene that is very specific. You see that Joey has transformed into a fire truck, and has, been using her hose to, like, spray down some of those flying droids. And up on the ladder of the fire truck, which is swinging around with the carriage at the end, you see Lily in the carriage swinging around a baseball bat in the air, knocking drones out of the air. And you actually see her hit one across the road as it flies into one of Echo's portals, which Gravitas has a gravitational well helping to guide it into the portal. You see after that happens, they all give a little cheer before Lily is very quickly after knocked out of the carriage and into the road by a laser blast. Which the whole maneuver looked incredibly impressive, so you're thoroughly impressed.
Unsafe.
Well, yes, it was also not very safe. It was very impressive, though, that they pulled it off. So you two are thoroughly impressed as you see this, but then, of course, the punchline is that she got knocked out of the carriage and hit the road afterward. She's fine, but, you're like, ooh. Ouch. Robert kind of gives a croak and a bit of a chuckle and says, well, looks like they're having a good time. He kind of looks around to the other two team members and is like, we didn't really get a good team for communication.
Another challenge. Communication is something you build up with people over time.
Yeah.
To expect it from the beginning is hopeful.
It just kind of sucks. I mean, if Lawrence keeps doing what he's doing, we get to, like, the final level or whatever, and it's harder. I just don't want him to tank, you know, how we're doing.
Succeed as a team. We fail as a team.
I guess so. He kind of just gives Lawrence a little side-eye, but gives a shrug and says, well, off to our next location.
Yep.
You know, give a nod, and then give a little croak as he hops out ahead. Mirage shrugs and finally starts walking out ahead as well. Lawrence watches the other two walk by as he sort of trails in the back, closer to where you are now, because, you know, you're kind of back here. And it actually seems like Robert is chatting up Priscilla a little bit towards the front of the group as you guys walk on. And you've got a little bit of time to talk to Lawrence here as you guys move down the road, if you wish. You could also not talk to him if you don't want to.
Oh no, you would.
Mm-hmm.
What? Necromantic? It sounds ominous. You know, coming from fucking Night Terror, that's hilarious. But like, okay, the Terry Dune situation, pragmatic. I've already talked to Dartling about his role in situations. He's to protect civilians if any are to exist in scenarios. Do you have a preference as what you'd be doing?
I'd prefer to not be doing this.
Well, not an option, unless you would just leave. So,
my spells, I guess, are better at, like, doing damage. So I guess that's what I'd be best at. But, like, if I use all of my spells, I'm probably gonna blow shit up, and Nightwalker's gonna give me a bad grade anyways. That's why it's like it doesn't even matter if I use my magic or not.
Indeed. So, Priscilla is gonna be... Oh no, that's Priscilla's. Mirage is gonna be running in regardless of what I tell her to do. Dartling's already running on rescue. I'm distraction. He's just thinking like what Necromantic could do if his spells are dangerous, which he's gonna take him on his word for that because he's the mage. Magic, like trains, it's not real.
What you remember, because you're kind of thinking over what all Lawrence has done, what he's capable of. You know that Lawrence on the first day he seemed to, after cutting himself and using some blood, was able to create these weird little imps. He did, like, for one challenge and hasn't done it since. Obviously, he helped to create those weird slime creatures in biology, but that was kind of a different situation. Obviously, that'd be really hard to recreate here. But other than that, you know, he's manipulated the elements a little bit, but he's not actually openly used really any of his magic. It seems like if he can help it, he really prefers to just not pull out his spell book, which, by the way, seems to be what he needs to pull out to use most of his magic, unless it's, you know, kind of a ritual. Actually, no. Anytime he uses his magic, unless it's just his scarf doing its thing, he does have to pull out this, like, ominous dark spell book, and it seems like he kind of doesn't like doing that.
Right. Well, after a little bit of thinking, Night Terror would just look and go, if you don't want to use your spells, if you're worried about the potential danger, then simply follow up Priscilla and try and use your scarf to assist her.
But I hate her.
True. But whatever's trying to hurt her will also be trying to hurt you. So it's in your best interest.
Yeah, but, like, if I just don't go with her, then I won't be in danger. Like, she's a bitch. I kind of hope she gets hit.
You just be silent. And just keep, like, lock eye contact as they're moving.
Why?
Regardless of your person. Why is he making eye contact?
Yeah, no, he just was like, what? Like, he kind of, like, can feel the daggers. It's like, what's the problem?
Regardless of your personal opinions of someone, we are a team. So, we should work together. Even if only for just this day.
Roll to... Let me see. You're not... I'm not gonna make you roll for that, actually. That is a different intention. Yeah, you tell him this, and he just kind of rolls his eyes. He's like, fine. But I don't want to be with Priscilla still, because I'm not a frontline guy. I don't think I'll be very helpful. In fact, I think that they'd be more likely to take me hostage. My scarf is really useful, but, like, I also kind of don't want it to get shot, because it can die, and that would really suck. So... He kind of looks forward at Robert and Priscilla, and, you know, they're talking amongst themselves, and it seems like Robert is talking, you know, in small bursts and casually, and it seems like Priscilla is, like, slowly giving him more and more of a response. They have seemingly found something to talk about, and he just sighs, and he's like, alright, if I have to do any of this, I'm sticking with you. I like the idea of staying back more, and you can punch stuff, so I'm just gonna follow you.
Alright, I'll provide cover. Oh, did you see my mist back there?
Yeah. I'm afraid that you told me not to breathe it in.
It's not poison or anything of the like, but that warning still stands. He'd actually yell up to the two up front. He'd be like, hey.
They kind of look back at you.
Don't breathe in my mist.
Robert gives you a thumbs up, and Priscilla furrows her brow and is like, what? Okay. And looks forward again, and Robert kind of seems to be like, yeah, if he says don't breathe it in, you shouldn't. She's like, whatever, I'm not going to be near him anyway. And they keep going as Robert, you know, continues to talk to her and kind of, you know, help back up your message a bit. But you look back to Lawrence, and he kind of, like, pulls his book out from the little leather sash that's been, you know, holding it up. It's kind of what he carries at him. And he just is kind of looking at it as you guys walk. And you look at it, and you do get a very unsettling vibe when you look at it. Because it just kind of looks like a spell book, you know, what you would assume one would look like. But it has this dark presence about it. And Lawrence just sort of looks it over before putting it back in his sash and just sighing uncomfortably. Alright, if we could just get this done, then I just want to go back to my room and, like, I don't know, mess with, well, whatever.
Understandable.
And yeah, you guys continue on your way and make your way up the street, to which you hear a deafening boom in the distance, which instantly worries you guys, and you charge forward, Lawrence bringing up the rear, as you make your way here. You're at the bottom. And as you make your way up towards this intersection, tearing down the street, you see chaos unfolding ahead of you. Drones are flying about with their lasers trained on droids that seem to be panicking in fear. Additionally, you see a small group of panicking droids running out of a store across the way. Your handbook lights up. Final level! And yeah, as you look around, it seems like the situation this time is much more hectic. There is a lot going on here. And of course there are icons on the drones that are panicking, which, you can assume that these are meant to be civilians, not threats. But yeah, you guys run out this way. And there's immediately a lot going on. Priscilla is going to start off by basically just kind of running down the road this way and creating some clones for herself. Bring them closer to her. But she creates some clones and runs down the way, and Robert, looks back to you, Terry, and gives you a little nod and a croak before jumping up on this wall of this building very high up, jumping off and doing a backflip over this car and the civilian, as he lashes out his tongue, not at the drone, but at the civilian, as he pulls the civilian towards himself in his arc through the air, and lands on the other side of the road, passing them off so that they can run and escape. Which, impressive maneuver, that one. But
Practice
Robert...
that one.
Huh?
He's practiced that one.
Yeah, he practiced that one. But yeah, it seems that Robert is, is ready to go focus on rescue, and Priscilla is heading straight in. And Lawrence is just kind of behind you, still seeming like half-hearted about the whole situation. But like he's at least sticking with you. So, what do you intend to do?
I'm gonna assess the situation, obviously.
Okay.
Like, just running in blindly right here would be unwise.
Yeah. Roll for superior then. And also,
I will never clear my conditions. I'll take all 6 of them to the grave.
I was about to say, if you ever want to roll, or if you ever want to clear your conditions, under each condition there is a tag that says, like, an action you can do to clear it. But yeah, okay. You can roll now. Oh. Remember to keep marking that potential. You might just get 2 advancements after this, at this rate. Okay.
Pain. Suffering.
Yeah, you're
actually already at 4 out of 5 again.
Oh my god, yeah, you actually might get 2 advancements. You'll be caught up to Joey and Lily. Yeah, you're looking around and you're trying to assess the situation, but really, like, there is just so much going on that it's crazy. The only thing that you can take solace in is the fact that, like, the flying drones are clearly not meant to be people. So it's like, okay, if we destroy them, that's at least okay. We don't have to worry about, like, the car door situation. Which, again, Lawrence didn't seem too perturbed by, and Robert had immediately regretted saying. But yeah, it doesn't seem like you're able to really glean much from the situation. And as Robert had jumped across and, allowed for that civilian to be free, you see him jump up onto the wall and crawl around the wall this way before jumping ahead to do more work on the other side of the road. Priscilla, meanwhile, will continue charging in, and you actually see that the real Priscilla gets next to this guy and kind of starts ushering him away with her front facing the robot as her clones move into position. And you actually see that multiple plates of sort of reflective light energy, whatever it seems to be, these constructs that are very mirror-like, appear in the air around the robot as her and her 2 clones fire off little light blasts from their fingers, and they start bouncing around all of the mirror reflective surfaces, and they basically just tear this robot to pieces as it falls to the ground, eviscerated. This guy getting the hell out of Dodge. So you see that at least your teammates are, like, working on shit. But as you're sort of trying to take everything into consideration, and you're working real hard, Lawrence grabs your shoulder and shakes you and is like, "Hey, we gotta get in there, right?"
Of course, yeah, of course. He's gonna try and run up and smoke this one out.
All right, yeah. Roll to unleash your powers as Lawrence will hide behind the car.
Yeah.
Right. No advancement yet. Not a second one. That's a 9. So yeah, you can either mark a condition, or I will tell you how it's unstable or temporary.
Unstable or temporary?
Yeah. Let me actually check. How many conditions do you have marked? 3.
3.
Fuck. Alright.
To the grave.
Afraid, guilty, and insecure. Yeah, that basically spells it. Yeah, so it's unstable or temporary. As you spray out this mist, and let's see, you create a mist like around this area, and as you create this smoke screen, you can see that the drone kind of starts turbines a little bit, kind of starts like spinning some of the blades around its body around like a giant fan. And you can tell that it won't be in the smoke screen soon. It seems that instead of the other drones that started firing off lasers in a panic, this one is trying to clear it. So you've only got a moment.
Okay, but it's using its turbines to blow like away from it, right?
Yeah.
So it would lower. Yes. Could Night Terror move under it and surprise it?
Yeah, you could go for that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for then. So that's... I'm pretty sure that would be danger, right?
Yes.
Okay. Give me that -2. I'm having this for... Oh god, I'm getting flashbacks to -3. I'm getting flashbacks to -3.
Oh no!
Let's go!
You get a second
advancement number 2!
God. Alright. Yeah, you run up to this thing as it like lowers itself and starts blowing the mist away. And you go to try to kick it, and it, you know, it weaves out of the way in the air, and it's gonna start trying to laser blast you. So roll to take a powerful blow.
Okay, let's start on that. Let's start on that new potential tracker.
We'll pick these
Conditions
advancements
3.
after
Let's
the
go!
Oh no! That's horrible! That's awful! Okay. So you can either pick one from the top list of take a powerful blow, or 2 from the bottom.
What's the top list?
The top list is you have to flee, pass out, or remove yourself from the situation.
Okay.
Lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way. Or the 2 list options from the 7 to 9 list, which is lash out verbally, give ground, or struggle past the pain. But if you struggle past the pain in Mark II conditions, you will also flee or pass out or leave the scene. Ooh.
What a situation. How
What
fun.
What a situation.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose control of my powers in a terrible way.
Oh god. Okay,
Let's bring
cool.
the fear.
Let me, you know what? Let's get some new music. Let's see here. Oh, it's sad I don't have a player theme for you. So instead...
I pay hands.
Ooh, I know what I'm gonna do. This is gonna give some bad vibes. Alright, you ready for the bad
Love
vibes?
bad vibes. Bad vibes are fantastic.
Look at the name of that track.
Wait, you can see the names of tracks?
Yeah, if you look in the music area.
Haha!
Alright. You get blasted in the thigh, and you kind of start panicking a little bit as you feel it. You get blasted in the side, and Lawrence is kind of hiding behind the car, and is like, hey, you good? But you can't really hear him. All you can hear are the blasts of this robot that is attacking you. And it kind of backs up as blue mist or fog starts to exude itself from your mask, your palms, and your boots. And eventually a whirlpool of your fog it basically explodes around you and fills the entire middle of this intersection. So let's zoom out and see how this goes. Let me draw the smoke.
This isn't from fear, by the way. Terry's just snapped. He's done. It's over. He doesn't care anymore. He was trying to. Believe me. This dude's attempting, but nah.
Let's give
He's been poked too many times.
Here's our fog. It's a different color too. Your smoke screen rolls out across the entire street. And in the darkness, even you can't really see what's going on, but you hear the scraping of metal as the drone falls to the ground destroyed. Just, like, by something that even you don't even know that you have control over or not. But within the darkness, you see flickers of light as Priscilla and her clones run over in your direction. And as they close in on you, she just says, she kind of coughs and says, Terry, what the hell is going on? Why did you cough so much of this shit out.
Oh, he'd be back and he'd be like, oh, no. And he'd be like, just don't think. Like, just don't do anything. Don't close your eyes. It won't help, but...
Priscilla is, like, shaking her head, and she's like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? And behind her, you see this. From the dark fog, a giant construct, serpentine in nature, starts to form, and it actually almost kind of resembles Lawrence's scarf in a way. And you're looking at this and you're like, did that come from me? Did that come from her? Where did that come from? But eventually, you feel a tap on your shoulder as you look over at Lawrence, and he just says, dude, what the hell happened? And it seems like he cannot see the thing in the distance, and Priscilla has her back to it. What do you do?
Okay. So, I'm gonna do the thing to clear... Wait, what is this? Insecure, and he's just gonna run and push Priscilla out of the way of this thing.
Okay, so let's see. In order to clear Insecure, what does that move here?
Just don't talk to anyone. Like, don't say anything. Just do something foolhardy action without talking to your team.
Ooh, okay, yeah. All right.
So he's just not gonna say anything, act purely on instinct, and just push Priscilla out of the way of this thing.
Okay, yeah. You run up to her, and you go to push her out of the way, and she falls to the ground. You kind of get in front of her, and she shouts, what the heck? What the hell? And as Lawrence kind of moves forward through the fog, he looks up and gives, like, a yip at this thing. And it, like, it's serpentine style flowing through the air, and it looks down at you, and you have the feeling of, like, okay, normally I can control what comes out of me, but you don't feel a specific connection to this thing. So you're actually afraid that it might not even, like, care enough to listen to you at this rate. As it moves down towards you, and you hear a low growl, not coming from the creature, but almost from yourself, from your thoughts. It seems that this thing is also drawn from your fears as well. So how does that affect the shape of this thing?
Oh. It's just a monster.
Mm-hmm.
It exists purely just to hurt people.
Yeah, it has more limbs coming out of its serpentine body with claws, some of them curled in and out of fists, just ready to hurt those behind you, seemingly. As they both stand up and stumble a bit, and they're like, whoa, Terry, did you make that, or is that part of the training?
Run. That's all I'd say.
Oh!
Run now.
At that, you hear some metallic crashing in the distance as Robert seemingly dispatched the drone, and had already, like, evacuated the two droids that were in his car. And you hear from outside of the fog him calling out, and just saying, guys, are you in there? What the hell? And this thing is going to lash out. It's going to fly over... It's actually going to try to fly through you guys. So I want you to roll to take a powerful blow.
Progression Tracker Tier 3. Let's go. 3 in 1 session. Let's get every condition and pass out. Let's go.
Oh, no. Okay, wait, that's good. That miss is good. Okay. This thing flies towards you, like Hanzo ult style, just a giant serpent trying to fly through you guys and get you to inhale more of the fog, as you basically jump towards these two and force them to hit the deck. And it soars around you, flying through the air, and spiraling above you as it almost starts to create a sort of storm within this fog. At that, your handbook start blaring with a red light, and the text changes from final level to danger, emergency mode activated. And this whole street basically goes on lockdown as all of the drones that were originally for the test basically turn into, like, protection mode. So let me shift these guys. And you actually see that out from the store that those two droids at the top were panicking in front of, you see dudes with weapons walk out that were seemingly originally for, to be like thugs or whatever, but they come out and they are also in emergency mode. All of these guys are going to charge into the fog, as they are robots.
They don't breathe.
Yeah, they don't breathe. They're robots.
Thanks, robots.
And they're going to start unloading their pellet guns up into the air at the storm as it turns towards them and starts lashing out. Thankfully, it seems that it's just here to hurt whatever it can. So you get a moment of reprieve with these two as Lawrence scrambles forward and says, So that's you? What the fuck, dude?
Just fear. You need to run now. The longer you're in the smoke, the worse it's gonna get.
Okay, don't have to tell me twice. And Lawrence goes to scramble out of the fog. Priscilla stands up and is like, oh, please, I can take this thing out. And you're supposed to be able to control this thing. We at least should, I don't know, try to take care of it or something. I doubt the droids can.
Okay. I'm thinking like me thinking. It's like, Terry would react to this in a very different way, it's smidge nuanced.
Mm-hmm.
He'd grab Priscilla's shoulder and be like, enough of your self-aggrandizing attitude. You have to run. I failed the scenario, but I'm not going to let you run into danger. Especially not something I caused.
Priscilla looks at you and looks really surprised, and she chuckles and says, oh, I've always got to put on a show. But really, I mean, we have no idea how many of our classmates are near here. I mean, if they run into this, more people are going to be in danger. And if the drones that are in this test can't take it out, I don't know what your deal is, but this thing could just stay here. I don't know if you have a plan, and if you do, I'm willing to try to let you take care of it. All I'm saying is, I'm here, and I'm going to try to take this thing out. I'm not just going to stand back and do nothing.
Always like this with you heroes. Never think about yourselves.
She turns her back
Fine.
to you. What do you say?
Fine. If you wish to take the risks, I'll assist you. I have no control over this thing. But that doesn't mean I can't help take it down.
Okay. And she steps forward, copies herself and creates a clone, and it stands in front of you, and she says, I'll cover you while you try to figure something out. And then she goes to kneel down as she creates another clone in front of herself, and she goes to start firing laser blasts at this thing. And it's being covered at both sides with projectile shots as the droids are moving around tactically in order to basically try to surround and quarantine this thing. What do you want to do as Priscilla is basically creating tactical cover for you with her clones?
Terry's gonna move to the right and just run into it. It's made of smoke, right? Or is it like an actual monster? It's made of smoke?
It looks like it's made of smoke, but you know that since all of you are perceiving this thing, that it is as permeable as it looks like it is. So you think one of my fears is kind of my own smoke, so I should be able to run into it, but other people probably would not be capable of doing so.
Yeah. He knows it's smoke, though. Mm-hmm. So he's going to run to the heart of the storm. It's stupid. He's not thinking at all, but
yeah.
He's got to try this, so he's going to move to the right and he's just going to run into it, because he knows it's not physical.
Okay. Yeah, you charge into the storm then. And as you charge in here, everything goes dark. And what you see around you is eerie, to say the least. You walk into this dark fog that surrounds you, and it seems almost bigger on the inside. And of course you realize alright, I am probably breathing in my own mist. So I just need to calm down and figure out what the hell I'm doing here.
Terry knows this from experience. Fear isn't something, like true fear isn't something you can like logic your way through. Like he's afraid and he's like he's very unhappy, but he's not trying to like calm himself down because he knows that's not how this works. It's futile.
Yeah, so you're walking through the dark, and I mean, what is it that you're looking for? What are you really like doing in this dark maelstrom?
Well, he's trying to figure out like, because like he has control over this. Like he lost control. He understands that, but it's still him, and he's just looking for the reins again. Hopefully, before things bad happen on the outside. Yeah.
So as you walk around on the inside here, you're trying to find the way to control this, to hopefully gain control of this horrid, what you can almost feel like a force of nature. But as you're breathing sort of panicked, your mask, which normally acts as a sort of rebreather, it seems to be exuding enough of this fog that you're almost like breathing, you're kind of high on your own supplies, or really just starting to feel the effects numbing your mind. And the fog sort of starts to take shape in front of you as you are stopped by this figure. And he stands in front of you and just says, "You've lost control again."
Only momentarily. I always have control. It's my fear, after all.
What are you even doing here? Playing at being a hero?
Playing for now, I guess. I'm actually looking at the answer for that.
It's honestly pathetic that you thought you could come here and avoid me. Avoid what you've become. Just get back out on the street and keep doing as I command. We have more work to do.
Always have more work to do. It's never enough. Yeah, that's true. It's really true. But at least I get a good break, right? Maybe think a bit. Talk to some people who actually can treat me like a person.
He chuckles and he walks over to you, and he puts a hand on your shoulder, and you know this hand is not comforting. It grips you uncomfortably tightly as he pulls you in close, and he just says, "There's never a break from our lifestyle. You're always going to be on the run. You're always going to be looking for that next job, and you're always going to be just another piece of the puzzle."
Maybe that's true. But I intend to be the most important piece if I'm going to be a piece, regardless of what I'm doing.
Arrogance. He sort of grips your shoulder harder, and you almost feel like it snapped under the pressure of this immense grip as he lets go of you and you stumble back to the ground, and he says, once again, "Arrogance. You know your place. Another pawn on the board. But you won't reach the other side. You don't have the power to become a king."
You know, with heroes it's always about the self-importance. Villains are the same way. In my case, it's arrogance. And with you, power. It's the difference between you and me. And it's the reason why I'm gonna become a king. You don't have enough perspective.
I see the whole board, Terry. I know exactly where you are and what you're doing, and I know where they are, too. Don't think you can outsmart me, Terry. Next time we see each other, I will make sure that you are either mine or that you are broken. There are only two paths, Terry. You have to choose. And you see him get swept up in the smoke. You lose sight of him, but once it clears, you see that he is gone. What are you thinking now?
Well, firstly, he's shaking like a leaf. That's like the first thing that's happening. He falls on his ass and he's just shaking, like full body shaking. He's actually almost like breaking down, like into tears, but he's not, because he knows, like, in the moment, while he's there, it might as well have been real. Like, it makes no difference, like, to his mind at this point. But after he disappears into what I assume is smoke, that kind of reminds him that, like, oh yeah, I'm in a smoke monster in a simulation dome.
What is real? What isn't real?
It doesn't matter. But, like, he knows that, like, people, like, what matters more now than, like, how scared he is people are still in danger, and he still has to solve this. So, like, yeah.
And as you're on the ground and you're coming to terms with this, and you're thinking, like, people are in danger, I have to do something, you feel a hand on your shoulder. And you look up to see... Hold on. You look up to see Robert. He just says, "What's happening to you, man? Come on, get up."
This is full dream logic now. Terry's just going with it. He would get up.
You get up, and he's just looking you in the eyes and saying, like, "I mean, you said for us not to breathe it in. I didn't think it'd be this bad."
I lost control.
Of course you did. Well, come on. I guess it's gonna be our job to save you. Then he hops away.
Typical heroes.
Disappears. Do you follow where Robert went?
Yeah, he's gonna follow him.
Okay. Yeah, you walk further in. You're kind of starting to piece together as you move through the fog. And you are walking around, kind of almost turning around on yourself, until you eventually and very suddenly bump into Lawrence. You bump into him and he goes, "Oh, fuck, there you are! God, what are you doing in here?"
What are you doing in here?
I came in to try to find you, man. It's been a while. I mean, like, you've been in here for like 10 minutes. I'm in here to get you out. Come on.
I have to stop it. I can't leave.
Listen, man. From one fucked up guy to another, I guess. I don't think you can stop this thing. And that's okay. Just come on.
So be it. And he just, like, if this is actually Lawrence, then, like, Lawrence would see Terry just deflate, like, visibly. And, like, he'd just, okay. Let's go then.
Kind of looks over you and just sighs, grabs you, and pulls you out of the fog. And with that, we're back on the outside, or at least within the layer of fog outside of the monster, as you fall to the ground, sort of almost limp, and you kind of look around as you fall to the ground, and you don't actually see Robert. Lawrence.
You mean Lawrence?
No, you don't see Robert, like you saw him before. But Lawrence does fall to the ground with you, And he kind of stands up and is looking around like, oh my god, this is nuts. Oh, Nightwalker's gonna be pissed. Or maybe if we stop it, he'll be really proud. I don't really care, though. I mean, can't we just let the droids take care of it? And Priscilla just shouts out, like, could you guys please do something? I'm getting a little, getting a little tired of this, as the monster lashes out. And you see that it's been basically chomping its way through all of the droids, destroying them one by one, as it turns its attention to you three. Or I guess you five, since Priscilla has clones out. And Lawrence skitters back, and is like, oh god, oh fuck. It
Lawrence.
rears up in the air.
Lawrence. Like, remember how you were afraid of being too destructive?
Yeah.
Scared, even?
Yeah.
Please don't worry about that with this thing.
Yeah.
It's worth nothing to anyone.
Okay. Cover me. And he runs over towards this car and pulls out his book.
Yeah, so Terry would move in front, like, almost to guard him almost.
Mm-hmm. And as you and Priscilla are staring this thing down, the creature looks at you, baring its teeth, and seems prepared to snap at you before Priscilla lets off another volley of laser blasts. These, again, mirror-like constructs appearing in the air around it so that the light blast can bounce around and continue hitting it. And as her two clones continue firing off shots, she runs over towards you and just says, okay, what's the plan? I can't hurt this thing, so I can only keep it distracted for a while. I mean, what's this thing made of?
You can't hurt it.
What?
Fear. It's made of fear.
Okay, then what? Do we have to, like, just not be afraid of it and it'll, like, go away, or...?
That would be next to impossible. It's taken on a mere... because we perceive it as a monster and we're afraid of it, it can't simply disappear. Like, we'd have to all stop feeling fear, and, well, I don't think anyone has a switch like that.
Fuck. Alright, well, hopefully
However,
Lawrence can take it out.
Yeah, he turned around and, like, gestured to Lawrence. I may not know how to deal with this, but hopefully Lawrence does.
And Priscilla looks back to Lawrence, and looks to the monster as it kind of lashes out, and she goes to, like, pull on your shoulder and pull you back with her a bit, and she just says, magic. And as the creature bears down on her two clones, they shatter like glass, and it rears back up, and it gives out a guttural sort of roar as it starts to take shape. And it goes to lash out a tendril towards you guys, and it's about to hit you before Priscilla hits the deck. You're like, oh shit, and you feel something sticky grab onto your back and pull you out of the way. As Robert has hopped into the fray. He pulls you over with his tongue midair as he lands and just says, I guess the test isn't going on anymore.
Unfortunately.
And he looks up to that creature, hears it bellow, and just says, alright, well, I'm here to back you up. Let's do it.
He'd point to Lawrence, whatever weird magic things Lawrence is doing.
Mm-hmm. Robert
We have to
nods.
protect him.
And then the creature's going to bear up in the sky, and it's going to charge towards you two as Priscilla calls for you guys to look out. What do you want to do as you see it charging in your direction?
Dodge.
Okay.
Move out of the way. Like, Terry doesn't know much about, like, everyone's powers and specifics, but he knows Robert is mobile.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if he can dodge this thing, Robert can as well.
Okay. Yeah, and you do see Robert, like, jump out of the way. And as you go to roll out of the way, roll to directly engage a threat for me. Okay, there you go. Yeah, and I assume you want to resist or avoid their blows.
Yeah, yes.
You dodge out of the way, and as you like roll along the ground, you see it kind of slither around and try to snap at you before Robert pulls you out of the way with his tongue, and it centers itself over here. Priscilla once again rolls out, shoots another blast of light as it bounces around the reflective surfaces, cutting it off from you guys before coming around and blasting it through the head, and it bellows once again. In the background, as you guys are serving as distraction, Lawrence, basically, he has his dark magic book out with a horrible, eerie essence flowing out from it as the pages rapidly turn on their own, the words ever shifting on its pages as his eyes have turned pitch black. He chants in an eldritch tongue as he kind of starts to falter a bit, but he keeps going. And you start to see the form of this horrible creature shift as it transforms. And even though it is still made of this horrible dark fog, it starts to shift almost to a reddish color. As when it transforms, you see the silhouette of what could only be described as a giant warlock. And around its hands are smoky, magical rings, almost like runic circles, as it casts a lightning bolt, creating a storm within this fog cloud. And as the lightning bolt goes to crash down towards you and Robert, roll to take a powerful blow for me.
God. It's spec'd into wizard. No!
It's multi-classing!
It's multi-classing, that's min-max. This is actual madness.
Oh no! Oh fuck. Okay. You can remove yourself from the situation, lose control of yourself in a powerful way, or your powers in a terrible way. Lash out verbally, give ground, take 2 things from that. What do you want to do?
Well, if I lose control of my powers again, that's like gonna make 2 of them.
You never
Am I
know.
gonna blast someone? There's so many things that could go wrong, so he's not gonna do that again. Like, last time he did it because he, like, snapped mentally a bit. Because he was just tired of getting hit. At this point, he wouldn't, like, snap again. Because, like, he already has. It's like, okay, so what does give ground entail?
Give ground means that the opposition has an opportunity of some kind.
Well, yeah, I have to take that.
Okay. You take that, and then do you want to, like, lash out verbally in some way?
I have to take 2, right? Because I go full hit?
Yep. It's either that or you mark 2 conditions, which would mean, like, you're out.
Not, you know, he definitely just, like, go out.
Damn.
Yeah.
Actually, wait. Hold on. I think you
It's like,
fixed one of
no
yours,
one here is
right?
doing anything worth flaming. Like, actually.
Oh,
So, like...
You actually, before, you unmarked insecure, so you can mark 2 conditions and still be in the
Oh,
game.
yeah. Okay, in that case.
There you go.
That's the
Alright.
easiest choice of my life.
Yeah, so what 2 conditions do you want to mark?
I'm afraid... Okay, so I'm insecure... Oh, no. I'm hopeless.
Okay.
Because I can't do anything to stop this, and I'm angry at myself.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, this thing casts a lightning bolt at you, and it hurts. It feels just as real as you think it is. As it blasts you and Robert. Robert goes flying into the back of this car. You go skidding along the street. And yeah, I mean, you're struggling past the pain to force yourself to get up. You're pissed at yourself. You're like, oh my god, I didn't think it could get this bad. No wonder people are afraid of me. And you have an opportunity as the creature flies towards you and swoops through your body. And you're overcome with more fear, getting visions of the man that you saw, who I'll keep the identity of secret for those watching. But also, you get visions of your parents and of all of the times you've used your powers, and you get visions of all of the times that, you know, you were doing your criminal thing, interrogating people, just how ruthless you were for a period of your young life. and this thing is terrifying to you. But as it swoops back up and braces itself, Robert hops back up, jumps over to you, and kind of protectively stands in front of you and just says, "We're here for you, don't worry." Priscilla, of course, primes another beam of light as this horrid, evil, monstrous-looking warlock creates what looks like a giant fireball in front of it, and as it lifts it up and prepares to throw it down, Lawrence chants out one final word, and his book floats in front of him with a dark portal opening in front of it. Priscilla very quickly dodge rolls out of the way, and all of the mist and fog around you starts to flow towards Lawrence. And as it does so, you see something weird happen. Veins of glowing magical energy coursing through the fog as it gets pulled into this rift. The entire maelstrom centering on this magical black hole as it gets pulled away. And finally, of course, the image of this warlock as it is getting pulled into the book, screaming and looking around, deforming itself into horrible inhuman shapes as it locks eyes with you, Terry, and it just points towards you as it gets pulled into the book and destroyed. And with that, the area clears itself back up. The blue sky shines over you. Lawrence stumbles back onto his ass, panting, not as if he's tired, but as if he just had a panic attack. Mirage is looking around to you guys, and Robert, feeling his back where you can see he's very openly bruised and wounded, turns to look at you and just says, "Are you okay?"
Oh, earlier when we were in dreamrealm.jpg, and undisclosed nefarious person crushed Terry's shoulder. Is that actually is his shoulder just cracked or broken now?
Throughout the whole scenario in the fog, you felt like your shoulder was broken, but once the fog clears and you start breathing air, it's kind of like if you get on laughing gas and get off of it,
Okay.
that, the feeling fades and your shoulder isn't actually broken, but it felt broken for all of that.
Yeah. So he'd look at good old Robert and just be like, surprisingly enough, I've had days worse than this.
Good.
I'm terrible, though.
What?
I'm not doing too well. If you haven't noticed, I prefer honesty.
Oh. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. So what, if you don't mind me asking, what is your power?
If you'd asked me before this, I would say I control fear. But I don't. I just am fear.
Oh. What did you see in there? You seem really shaken up.
Oh yeah, he's like, oh. I am shaking, huh? I haven't done that in a long time. Well, let's just say I saw some things that, well, just reminded me why I'm here. Could we please leave it at that, please?
He gives a little croak and a nod, and he says, "Sure, buddy." He kind of looks back to the other two. Mirage is tapping her foot, just kind of looking around, and Lawrence stumbles over to you guys and just says, "That was crazy. I haven't used a spell that big in years."
Harry would just fall on his back and just say, "Thanks for saving me, Lawrence."
Yeah, no big deal. I mean, it's not.
You're a real hero. That's all he'd say.
He kind of pulls his hat down a bit. He's like, "No, whatever." And at that, light flickers ahead of you guys as you see the hologram of Nightwalker appear again. And he just says, "Good lord." There's a moment of silence as he looks at you guys. And he walks over to you. And he's a hologram, but he gently puts a hand on your shoulder and looks at you and says, "Are you alright, Sari?"
Not in the slightest.
Well, physically, are you alright?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm chippy. Is he charred from the light? Like, that, like, to have lasting effects?
It does not seem like the lightning was real either, thankfully. It seems that was all a fucking illusion.
The only one who got hurt by that is Robert then. Nice. Yeah. Physically, I'm fine.
He sighs a bit and just says, "Good. I expected the possibility that someone's powers would go out of control. It seems a little bit of that happened in each of our groups today, as is to be expected. I won't hold too much of this against you, but based on the gravity of this situation, I will have to grade you all differently than the other groups. This will take a little bit of time to decide. Either way, good work on solving the situation. You did not finish the final test as it was intended to be solved, but I believe we can leave it at that for today." You kind of...
Oh. You'd be like, oh. Oh. That's good. Could you just, like, pass out? Because, like... he was heading in that direction.
Yeah, you're kind of, like, starting to lose consciousness. You know, Mirage kind of complains a little bit and is like, "Hey, yeah, why didn't somebody come here sooner to fix this?" You know, Nightwalker explains that he had programmed all of the robots in the area to start trying to help, but that eventually there was only so much he could do. His, you know, hologram wouldn't have been able to really do anything, considering what you created was not part of the simulation. But, of course, you know, he says, like, you know, that you guys were far enough away that he wanted to get here in time, but is glad that you guys were able to solve it when you did. But either way, he continues on, and he, you know, kind of clears his throat, and he says, "Once again, I'll go over your performances, and each of your individual scores will be calculated and added to the leaderboard within 24 hours. That will conclude our activities for the day. Remember to practice the techniques we went over in Homeroom before Wednesday. Have a good evening." And at that, the hologram disappears, and the handbook pings you with directions to the exit, which is closer than you would have thought it would be. And at that, you just sort of black out. And you don't really see what happens after that. But you can assume that everyone, you know, exited the simulation, exited the dome, and moved on their merry way. So let's shift scenes here as I get this next scene ready. This will take just a moment.
In my headcanon, Lawrence's scarf carried me out because no one wanted to carry him. Or, what is their name? Or Mirage, like, funeral, you know, like the funeral dance, like with, like, they're holding the coffin?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the clones just did that. One of those two.
Yeah, let's make our way to this map. Let me do this. Yeah. Okay. Let's make our way to this map. You open your eyes and you find yourself in the infirmary. Clearly you've been sweating a bit. They've taken off your jacket in order to help. But you see Robert standing at the end of your bed, and when you open your eyes, he smiles and gives a little low croak at you and says, "Oh, you woke up sooner than I thought you would. Hey."
That did happen.
What'd you say?
So that did happen.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Well, it kind of seems like Robert doesn't really know what to say for once. He's normally kind of good on the witty replies or just, giving some straightforward support, but it seems like he doesn't really know what to say, so he's just kind of staying quiet for you. You actually look over his shoulder and you see that Lawrence is just kind of sitting there with his arms crossed, just kind of reading through like a personal notebook of his. Actually, he seems to be jotting down notes in the notebook. This seems more accurate.
Well, that's one way to start my tenure as a hero in training. He'd laugh, but it was like joyless.
Robert kind of slumps his shoulders and says, "Well, you're not the only one who lost control. And, well, I mean, I don't know how everyone else will see it. I guess whenever Alex lost control and accidentally spiked Evan into the ground, that people started talking about that. So, brace yourself for that, I guess."
I'm used to people being afraid of me.
Robert frowns at that.
But are you alright? I noticed you got hit pretty bad in there.
Yeah, you see that he's wearing his usual shorts. He had changed out of the tracksuit, which he had been wearing during. And you see like a little bit of a wrap around his waist. And he says, "Yeah, I'm alright. It was really minor thanks to the tracksuit. It was surprisingly padded."
But
I mean, you don't seem hurt at least, but, well, if you need to talk about anything, I'm here, and if not, I'm here.
I appreciate that. But I really just need time to think.
He nods. And at that, the mechanical door to the infirmary whizzes open, and you see the school nurse walk in. Catalyst.
It's literally the scariest person, like in the entire cast. It's not even close.
He walks in and says, "Ah, I see you're awake." And he looks to Robert and says, "If you would, child." "Yes, Mr. Catalyst." Walks over here to sit down. And he pulls out a little vial of something, and he hands it to you and says, "Drink this. It should help with the nerves."
I used this my entire life. You just swig it in one.
He just sort of chuckles to himself when you say that dryly, and he says, "I always have some anti-anxiety mixtures, given how many teens I have coming to the infirmary." And you drink it, and it starts helping you level out a little bit. You clearly have a lot going on in your head, but it's helping to slow your heart rate a little bit, kind of calm you down a little. It's like whenever they hit you with the ointment that just kind of you get some lavender smell, just kind of peaceful. But Catalyst pulls out a sort of a digital handbook of his own, a large tablet, and starts jotting down some notes, and basically asking you questions of how you're feeling, and what your current state is, if there's any pain anywhere, and eventually he gets to asking you about your power, and he just says, "Now, Nightwalker informed me that your power went out of control. It seems that the damage was mostly internal, mostly mental in nature. What caused your power to go out of control?" And it seems that your conversation with Catalyst is quiet enough that the other two are kind of minding their own business.
I got angry and I snapped.
That is
I assume you know of my previous occupation.
Yes, I do have your record on file here.
Well, let's just say that whenever I used to get angry, I'd just solve it quite a predictable way.
I see.
Old habits die hard.
That is unfortunate. Emotional triggers are fairly common in biological superpowers. I would even probably describe your superpower as a biological weapon of some kind, naturally produced in the body. Now, when you were going through your physicals coming to Star Heights Academy, we did an X-ray on you. It does seem that you have a special organ that other people do not have, special liquids and materials in the body not normally developed. Your family, do you have a history of powers similar to your own?
No. I'm the black sheep. I suppose you could say that we all in the same general direction, but...
Empathy.
Yeah.
Okay. I was hoping that my records were lacking, but it seems that this really is a hard-to-explain phenomenon. Well, either way, you survived the day. It is very likely that if this happens again in the future, we will be able to take care of it, but I will advise you to be extra cautious. Based on what your classmates told me about the situation, your exerted fog, it seems to affect the perception of those around you, yes?
Yeah. Chameleon. All fear is.
I take it that if someone received enough shock in there, that it could be catastrophic.
Putting it lightly.
Yes. Well, I have a thought on what I can do in order to aid the situation, but I do need you to sign a waiver for me. Basically, the procedure is going to be as such. I need a sample of your product, and in return, I am going to use our private facilities to try and concoct an antidote of sorts. I believe it is well within my power to do so, and we will keep some on hand, keep some with all of our staff members, and you will keep some on hand as well. I believe this will be useful in case your powers get out of control in the future, but we are not allowed to do so, and not allowed to do such in-depth and gray research into your powers unless you, again, sign the proper waivers and,
Operate.
Yes.
Well, I have no reason not to.
Very well. And he kind of flips through on his tablet a bit, hands it to you and says, just sign here, here, add the date, and right here you can sign your name.
Yeah, he signed everything. Penmanship is really good.
Catalyst takes it back and nods to himself and says, yes. Well, I'll get started on this right away, and here in a little while I will come to start the process. But get to feeling better and really let the anti-anxiety mixture take effect and kick in. If you struggle too much or if your emotions flare up, it could burn through it a bit quicker, so just try to stay calm if you can. And just call for me if you need me, with the button on the remote on the side of your bed. And then he would turn.
Thank you.
And he nods to you when you thank him, and he quickly exits the infirmary. And at that, Robert stands up and moves around, and just says, "So, what did the doctor say?"
Just asking me how I'm doing. It's gonna make anti-fear juice. I wonder what that looks like.
Yeah, that does sound weird.
Well, at least if he thinks he can do it, he probably can. That's kind of crazy. Well, I need to go. I do have a few errands to run before the end of the night, but, you know, if you need me, you can just text me. I think you have my number. Do you have my number?
I don't have anyone's number.
Oh, here. And he pulls out his phone, and he motions for you to take out your phone before, like, you know, using special infrared, like, you tap your phones together, and you get his contact.
Thanks.
He nods to you, and he just says, shoot me a text if you need me. I'll be on campus. Then he turns around, and he goes to kind of walk out a little bit. And it just leaves you and Lawrence in the same room.
Yep. There, he's just gonna chill.
Mm-hmm. He kind of stays quiet for a little bit. And it's just like... sorry that I was being a dick earlier, I guess.
I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you. And it's fine. Everyone deals with their life in a different way. I have no right to judge anyone.
Just, you know, I kind of related with everything that was going on, so, you know, that fear stuff kind of seems like it sucks.
You know what the biggest misconception of my powers are? People assume that because I can control fear, I'm never afraid. I'm always afraid. So yeah, it does suck.
I just wanted to sit around and, you know, see if you're gonna wake up. I don't know. I didn't have much to say. Just, you know, I'm glad you're okay, I guess.
Likewise. Thank you for worrying about me, Lawrence.
I'm not worried. I'm just, like, you know, it just kind of is the decent thing for me to do, to come and check on you. You know, you were taking the time to talk to me today, so, you know, whatever. It's not a big deal. And don't...
It's a big deal to me. And in that case, thank you for being decent.
Just don't... yeah. I'm gonna go. And he kind of shakes his head a little bit, blinks his eyes a little hard. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go. See you in class tomorrow, I think. I hope. I think.
Yep. I got nowhere else to go. See you around.
Yeah. See ya. He quickly walks out.
The thin-ass bed. Really squished onto this thing, huh?
Really squished onto the bed. Yeah, it's about your size, but it's just kind of an infirmary bed. Yeah, you sit there and kind of chill out. And eventually, you know, Catalyst makes his way back into the infirmary, and he ends up talking to you. There are some, you know, injections involved, some needles that are taking things out of your body, and you know, the process goes as smoothly as it can. It's not like a hardcore surgery, but it's enough that it's like kind of painful. But eventually, after, you know, staying late to let Catalyst do what he does, he eventually gets the extract he needs, and, you know, just kind of is like, yes, and moves on his way to continue on making the anti-fear toxin. And as for you, for the rest of the evening, you're feeling sore from the needle injection sites. and, kind of feeling maybe even a little bit sick. We'll move out here. Eventually as the night passes on, you're feeling kind of sick, kind of unsettled. But with the process being started to supply the school with an antitoxin to your fear gas, you're hoping that eventually you won't have to worry as much about this being a problem again. But with how you lost control of your powers today, you can only assume so much. And before the end of the night, Nelson actually also comes in specifically to see you, check in on how you're doing, basically gives you the rundown on how everyone did on their tests, and is just kind of there trying to comfort you and talk to you, which is nice. But after Nelson talks your ear off, he escorts you back to the dorms. And once you get back to your dorms, I mean, like, what's actually, you know what? I mean, we can actually go to the dorms right now, and we'll have that be our final scene here. Let me get you here and you here. Let's move this way. Nelson escorts you back, and he's kind of been talking your ear off, but again, it's nice to have somebody kind of lead the conversation for a bit. And he walks you back up, and you can see that this door right here leads to his dorm, and yours is the farthest down on your left, so, like the top right. But he walks you by his dorm and says, "Well, I am sorry to hear about everything that went on today. I was wondering why you guys took so long." And from what Nelson told you, it seems that you guys were the last to finish your test, for obvious reasons. And he says, "But in any case, I'm sure that Nightwalker won't hold this against you. I'm sure that you'll move up the leaderboard at least a little bit for being able to handle a situation like this."
He should judge me based on what happened, not on how he feels about me. Whatever happens, I'll keep working away at this whole hero thing, regardless.
Yes. Nelson kind of seems nervous before saying, "Terry, I have to apologize to you."
Or?
People have been talking about you and saying that you're a bad boy because of what you did, and about who you were before you came here. And I'll admit that at first I was concerned about about your intentions on being here, and I just wanted to apologize for assuming things about you. You're clearly a good guy. You just are misunderstood. So I want to help everyone understand the Terry that's here at Star Heights Academy with us. The Terry that's going to be a great hero.
Harry would just, blankly stare at him. And then he'd start to, cry without, doing anything else. He'd be like, "Oh. Huh.
Oh my
Thanks
God.
For that.
I didn't intend to make you cry, Terry.
No. Things happen. I appreciate that quite a lot, actually.
Well, I'm glad. If you ever need me, it seems that we're next door neighbors. He pulls out his phone and does the tap away so you have his contact, and he says, "You can feel free to text or call me anytime, and I'll come running."
Thank you.
He gives you a smile and a salute, and he opens his door to go into his dorm, which I'll let you see and hear at his dorm for a minute.
My God, he's so powerful. He drew everything himself.
That's the art style for our fun room furniture. But yeah, he opens his door and goes in. You see he's ready to study. He's got his bag. He has a dehumidifier in there. All the good shit. And as he moves in to start studying for the evening, he just says, "Have a good night, Terry," as he closes the door.
You as well.
And yeah, your door is right up this way for your dorm. And you can actually see that Robert is right across from you, and Lawrence is actually in this room.
The squad.
Oh!
Oh my god, who's that?
You walk in, and you set up a mirror in front of your door. There you go.
It's actually a really funny concept that he puts a mirror right here.
You forget that you were like, you put up a mirror and you were like, oh yeah, I'll be able to like see myself as a hero today, or I don't know, whatever.
My entryway mirror.
Yeah, you see yourself and you're kind of freaked out. You're like, oh right, move it aside and move into your room.
Entryway mirror is never seen again.
Nope. You decide to get rid of it.
Yep. What time? Oh, is it like nighttime now?
At this point, it's like. It's kind of past dinner time. You haven't really gotten to eat dinner yet, but the dining hall after school hours serves dinner, and you there's like an area in the dorm building where you can kind of go to get small meals as well.
Like, Harry's gonna have a nap.
Okay.
He's gonna chill. Not very hungry. If he ate right now, he'd probably just throw up. So like, he's not gonna bother.
Yeah, you lay down on your little hammock and go to take a nap after a long, stressful day. We'll move back out Star Heights proper. And yeah, with that, your day comes to a close. You got to have your first bout of physical practice, and things, went a little topsy-turvy. Not exactly as intended, but you're at least happy that you made it through the day. The only thing on your mind now is, other than you thinking about your power, thinking about how you got here, and what awaits you on the other side of this school, you also just have to think, what is everybody going to think when they hear about this? Word is, clearly going to spread. Are you going to look like a monster? Are people going to be extra forgiving as heroes are? You don't really have a good grasp of the school yet, but you know that things are moving forward, and you can only go up from here. And that's our session. That's our good little one-off session.
Things can only go up from here. Famous last words.
God.
Famous last words.
Well, with that, we're gonna do our end of session move for you. So, I get to ask you if you either grew closer to the team, grew into your image of yourself, or grew away from the team. And the team meaning, any NPCs, any students, etc.
Yeah, grew closer to Lawrence and Robert.
Okay. Yeah, they made you...
Oh, and Nelson.
Mm-hmm. Then you can choose one of those guys to give influence to them.
Robert.
Okay. So give influence to him on your sheet, and you can either clear a condition or mark potential.
Marking potential. I'm taking... Wait, do I still keep over all of my conditions? Like all of them?
Yes, you do.
Nice! Taking them all to the grave. Let's go.
No! Oh no. Alright, yeah, you're gonna be heavily weighed on from today. Let's see. You're influenced by, let's add Robert.
Those are just 4 emotions he feels all the time. I should just have those marked at all times.
Oh god.
Nah, it's a lie. He's only afraid all the time. He's not angry and guilty all the time.
Mm-hmm. You're at least...
Yep.
You at least gave away insecure, but became hopeless.
Yeah, dude. Who's insecurity? That's cringe.
God.
Be incredibly nihilistic about your future. That's the way to go. Let's go.